Really, like I said last night, really proud of our performance going back. I mean, that was a physical football game last night, and our guys played with intensity. They played with energy. They played with effort. They played with competitive spirit. It was fun watching it live, and then fun watching that tape again today. I knew it was physical. I mean, you could hear some of the collisions on the sideline last night, and if you go back and watch the TV copy, I mean, you can hear the physicality in that game on TV. It was a physical game, and glad that we came out of it in pretty good shape from an injury standpoint. I don't think Marquis Anderson's injury is going to be anything significant, or at least I hope not. He's got an MRI coming up, but we're optimistic on that one. Everybody else came out of it in pretty good health. Bye week is coming at a good time. There's no question about it. Looking back at last night, we did the things that we needed to do to win the game. We knew we had to be the most physical team, and we were as the game went on. Our offense, we were really productive on third down, which was key to be able to stay on the field like we did. We certainly left some yardage out there in the run game. That was disappointing to go back and look at today. Some of the yards that we left on the field. Feel like we left some things out there from a special teams standpoint. Also, we dominated the turnover battles. So when you win the turnover battle like that and play clean football like we did from a penalty standpoint, you give yourself a chance to win. And those are the things that we hadn't done the last couple of weeks. We did them last night. And then probably most proud of just the fourth quarter. I don't think people are talking about the fourth quarter enough, just to be completely frank. I mean, you look at statistically what we did in the fourth quarter, the way we controlled the ball. I mean, we got the ball back with 10 minutes left in the game, or a little over 9 minutes, and never gave it back until the very end, where they had one play with about 20 seconds left and the game was over. We lined up and we ran the ball 14 straight plays, guys. 14 straight plays, and we controlled the ball for 9 minutes on that drive in a situation where Kentucky's still in the game. They know we're going to run the ball. They have to get the ball back. And we lined up and ran the ball 14 straight plays and ran the clock out. I mean, that's how you finish. And it would have been 15 straight plays. We had we called a pass on second down that was actually me. I told Coach Shula to call that pass play. We were trying to take a shot off of the play that Dre had caught on the first play of our last play of the third quarter. So that Lenoris ended up scrambling on it. But other than that, on that last drive, we ran the ball 14 consecutive times and got in big personnel and did it. So really, really proud of that, the way we finished. And after any game, win or lose, there's a lot to correct and get better at, and we certainly do. But great momentum going into the off week. We gave our players off today. Coaches worked half the day reviewing this game. Players are off. We'll come in tomorrow morning and review this video, lift, meet, and then the coaches will spend the rest of the day working on ourselves, because we have a lot to get better at, getting a jump start on LSU. And then we'll practice on Tuesday and Wednesday. Coaches will be out recruiting Thursday and Friday. Players will be off for the weekend. Coaches will have Saturday off. That's our first day off since the middle of August, and our coaches need it. And then everybody will be back in on Sunday, full speed ahead for the LSU week. A lot of guys played well for us last night. Defensively, our coaching staff felt like our players of the game were Brian Thomas, JT Gear, Dylan Stewart, and Brandon Cisse. Our offensive coaches felt like Rodney Newsome, Vandrevius Jacobs, and Lenoris Sellers were our offensive players of the game. Our special teams player of the game was Mo Brown. And scout team players of the week, offensively, Mike Tyler. Defensively, Chris Hatfield. And special teams was Larry Scott. Questions?
Hey, Shane, it's Dave. Going into the bye week, 5-week sample size, is there any, like one blinking light, something that you got to say, this is what we have to do before anything else, before we get back to the grind for LSU?
I think anytime you go into a bye week, you're almost at the halfway point of the regular season. We always self scout, but you can really dive into, the self scout, not just tendencies, but as I told the coaches today, David, we're 5 games in. We really need to do a deep dive on, okay, these are the things that we're really good at. We need to continue to do these things and find better ways of doing them. These are the things that maybe we're not so good at. So maybe we need to lessen how much we're doing them or work on more to get better at it. And then overall, I think there's a lot of areas but I think the biggest thing is one, ourselves continuing to get healthy, self scout for sure. And then I know I've said it before, but just the details of plays and doing things all the time, exactly how they're coached to do in all 3 phases and continuing to improve in all those areas.
Hey Shane, it's Jordan. You mentioned both self-scouting and kind of looking ahead to LSU. How do you split that up? Is it something you do something for 4 days and then scout for LSU the next two? Do you split up your coaching staff and have some guys focus on one? Like, what's the balance of those two things?
Yeah, great question. Really, Joe DeCamillis, Clayton, and Mike are handling their 3 units, their 3, parts of the ball, if you will. But I would say tomorrow, Jordan is going to be, primarily us. Really, we'll be with the players in the morning. We'll have a team meeting at 8 a.m. and then the players will be in the building until 11:30 tomorrow. And so in the morning we'll be with the players, and then really all afternoon I would say it's primarily us. Like, let's really dig in on how we can get better, where are we not very good right now, what personnel do we maybe need to adjust, what schemes do we need to tweak, and then preparing for taking all that and preparing for practice on Tuesday. And then Tuesday we'll introduce LSU a little bit, so there'll be a little bit of LSU tomorrow as a coaching staff during it, but we'll really grind tomorrow afternoon as a staff, primarily on ourselves, but being prepared to introduce LSU a little bit in practice on Tuesday. And then I would certainly say Tuesday and Wednesday, still us, but really get going on LSU Tuesday and Wednesday. And after practice, we practice in the mornings, obviously. So in the afternoons, all LSU. And then, Thursday and Friday, our whole staff, myself included, will be out recruiting. So for us, it's really, 3 days of work, with Monday primarily being on us as a staff. I would say it's some individual work, but it's the offensive staff in that room together, defense in that room together. And then Tuesday and Wednesday after practice, more just LSU.
Hey Shane, it's Jack. Just wanted to ask a little bit more in depth about, you mentioned diving into the good and the not so good. I'm curious from your perspective, now it's 5 weeks into the year, where do you feel like you guys are at your best, and where are you guys still feeling like there is room for improvement?
I think you look at every area, Jack, and say that you can improve. I mean, even in a great win last night where we did so much good, there's a lot of things that leave a lot of room for improvement on special teams, on special teams, doing things, the way we're coached to do them. We got away from that a little bit tonight and our last night, and our special teams did a lot of really good things, but we left a lot out there. So we continue to emphasize the one shot or one down mentality with special teams, because you don't get second down and third down on special teams. You get one shot, and we didn't take advantage of some opportunities last night defensively, particularly on that first drive, kind of getting out leveraged and letting the ball get outside a couple times where it didn't need to happen, or overrunning a gap that results in a big play. So those details. And then, offensively, we did some good things last night. We were physical, but when I talk about the details of the plays, I would talk about some of the runs that we left out there. And when I say that, I felt like, our running backs did some good things last night, but particularly in the first half, I feel like we had some runs that were blocked pretty well, and we didn't quite read it, hit the right gap, whatever you want to call it, as well as I would like. So continue to, emphasize that. And then our drop back passing game, we did some good things last night, but we were off on a little bit of it as well. So, I think there's plenty that we can correct. I don't know if there's just one thing, but when you're 5 games in, there's a pretty big body of work that you can look at to say, here's areas to improve on.
And can you kind of take us through the fake punt pass play that you guys had there?
Yeah. It's a fake that we've been running in practice for 5 years. I mean, we've been practicing that fake since Coach Limbo was here. And, it's kind of a staple fake punt, and so disappointing that we didn't execute it better. To be completely frank, in my mind, it should have been a touchdown. And it was one of those things that the look that we always practice it against in practice was the look that they gave us. It's basically the perfect look for us to do what we wanted to do. I saw how they lined up on the first, and I looked at it on the iPad, and I told Joe DeCamillis on the headphones, we're going to run this before the night's over. And, we were backed up and we got it in favorable field position. Reason I called it, I felt like, one, it was there. It was exactly how we practice it in practice. It was there. And, felt like at that point, I didn't want to put their offense back out on the field. Felt like we had some momentum and really had a play that we thought we could execute. We called it, and give their guy credit. He made a one-on-one tackle and Mo in space, but ideally the way that we've got it designed, that guy shouldn't even have been there. So disappointed that we didn't execute it better, especially after practicing it for 5 years. But again, we as coaches obviously got to coach it a little bit better, because we were a little bit off and didn't quite execute it exactly how we liked. And again, we caught the ball and Mo's one-on-one with the guy in space. And I had visions of that ball he caught against Virginia Tech on the first play of the game, where he was going to run somebody over and go score, but their guy made a nice play. So, tip your cap to them, and then great job by our defense going out there and holding on to 3 points.
Hey, Shane, it's Ben. You guys ended up having to move a few pieces around on the offensive line, and you end up having Tree play kind of both sides. What are you able to learn about your line when they kind of face that kind of adversity? And also, just how tough is that for a guy like Tree to have to kind of bounce between both sides in the same game?
Yeah, it's not ideal, but it's a testament to our offensive line that we've got some guys up there that are good athletes and are smart enough to bounce around and have some position flexibility, whether it be playing both tackle spots, whether it be playing both guard spots, whether it be center and guard. We do a lot of work in that in spring practice and preseason, trying to train guys at different areas, and then you've got some swing guys that can do different things. So it says a lot about those guys, and need to continue to do that. I think the more you can do, the better. Rashawn Lee's a great example of that. In his career here at South Carolina, Rashawn played center, guard, and tackle for us, and now he's on an NFL roster. And we got guys like that are good athletes and have position flexibility, and that's a great asset to have when you have some injuries like we do right now on the offensive line.
Shane, kind of following up on that, how do you feel like the run of injuries has affected things on the offensive line from a cohesion and execution standpoint? Do you think that's been significant or not that much?
I think it's been a factor, Hale. I don't want to sit here and seek comfort and say that we've had injuries and we haven't been as good as we would like, but it's not ideal. Last night we started our third different center in 5 games. And then we had 2 guys that started against Missouri that weren't even in uniform last night. Injuries a part of it. We know that. We've got depth on that offensive line, and we've got guys that have played a lot of football here before. So, sorry, dog's going crazy. Doorbell. But we got Boomer makes his appearance on the Sunday teleconference. We've got some continuity. We've got guys with experience that have played on the offensive line, and it helps all those guys for sure. But we need to get guys healthy. There's no doubt about it. But really proud of those guys coming in last night and playing really, really physical. That's what I was proud of, Hale, was just the intensity that they played with, the physicality they played with, the way they tried to finish blocks. I'm sure you guys obviously you watch the game, and I'm sure you'll go back if you haven't already. I mean, watch the TV copy. Just watch the way guys are finishing downfield, whether it be Mo Brown at tight end or Tro or Rodney Newsome. Just the mentality those guys played with last night was pretty cool to watch.
Hey, Shane, it's Jordan. I know how much you talk about the SEC schedule being just a bunch of opportunities for your team. Do you allow your guys to look at, what's coming up in this month of October as a big opportunity, or do you want their mind to just be focused to LSU?
Yeah, I mean, I think you better be focused on what's in front of you. I mean, they're not dumb. I mean, I think it's a pretty realistic that we're going to face five straight top 10 teams or four straight, whatever it is. I don't even know who the next five are, but I did see something that it could easily be all top 10 teams, which is great. As a competitor, you want that. And that's life in the SEC, man. Coach Stoops and I were talking about that before the game last night. I mean, you just look at their schedule, who they have coming up. I mean, there's nobody in this league with a easy schedule, and that's why I chuckle when I hear people talk about all conferences are the same. They're not. I don't see another conference out there where teams play as many ranked teams in a season as we do in the SEC. And that's what you sign up for. If you don't love to compete and you don't want that, then you're in the wrong conference. So we understand that aspect of it and look forward to competing, starting with LSU, and then after LSU, we'll worry about what's next. But again, in my mind too, those teams got to play us too, Jordan, and that's our mentality, and that's the way it always will be. Is also, and if we continue to get better and improve, we're going to be a problem for a lot of opponents here the rest of the season.
Shane, it's Jack again. It just seemed like Lenoris last night kind of played like his 2024 self in a lot of ways. And I know you've talked about him running the football a lot before and stuff this season, but it just felt like he was a lot more effective in the ground game last night. What did you notice that was the biggest difference for him?
Probably just his aggressiveness in running the ball. I mean, there were a couple times last night, Jack, that we had some called runs that were supposed to be automatic handoffs that he pulled anyway. So the headline does not need to be Lenore Sellers has gone rogue and doing his own thing. That's not what I said. But there were some plays that, they were going to be called. They were called runs to a running back, but he realized that maybe it wasn't an ideal play. And because of what they were doing, and he ended up pulling it, which I've been around coaches like that before. There were times we had called runs that Lincoln told the quarterback, Kyler, Jalen, whoever, that, if you feel this, yeah, it's a called run, but it's not really a zone read. But if it's there, you got the option to kind of do it. And he did that a couple times last night that resulted in some runs for us. And then certainly he was aggressive on some passes that we had that he felt a little bit of pressure, and then he tucked the ball and ran and made big plays out of it. So that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing I would say. That was the difference in last night, was just his aggressiveness, and I don't know if willingness is the word, but his desire to run the ball. He did that last night, and he was going to continue to do it till the end of the game. I mean, I took him out and I told him, you don't need to take any more hits, because that's just the way he plays football. Is he was going to continue to compete and continue to, play physical and run the ball as much as he could.
Do you consider that him audibling at the line, or is that something he doesn't even need to tell the offensive line? He can kind of just read the defense and make the decision.
Just kind of read the defense and make the decision. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, we have called zone reads, whatever you want to call it. We certainly have that, plenty of it. We had those last night, but then we also had some runs that were, he just knew probably wasn't a great look to run the ball into, and he just kind of made a decision on his own that was the right decision, and got positive yardage out of it.
Shane, I wanted to ask a couple of guys in particular. Fred Johnson, how do you think he's played so far this year? And Nick Sharp, is he healthy or just behind some other guys?
I think Fred has played really well. He's active. He's athletic. One thing I love about our defense, John, is just our linebackers' ability to rush the passer. They're added pass rush guys for us. And you watch J.O., you watch Sean Murphy, you watch Fred. They missed a couple sacks last night where we brought them on pressures, and they were one-on-one with the running back, and they beat the running back, and it should have been a sack, but the quarterback, slipped out of there and we missed it. We got to collect those sacks for sure, but they do a nice job. Fred's a guy that just continues to get better and better each week with experience. He's still very young as a linebacker, as you know. I mean, this is a guy that was basically playing wide receiver and tight end most of the time in high school, and he continues to get more and more comfortable out there. I thought he did some really good things last night, and will continue to get better. And Nick is behind some other guys right now. Nick's somebody that, we still have is a good player and we have high hopes for. He had an injury coming out of spring practice that, kind of got him behind a little bit and practiced more for. He's not hurt. I mean, he was more involved last week in practice and did some good things, and somebody we want to continue to bring along that we want to be able to help us, but right now we've got some other guys that we feel like give us a better opportunity or to be successful right now.
Hey Shane, it's Lulu. Obviously experience matters, but there are instances where sort of young energy, kind of feeling like there's nothing to lose, really helps, and it seems like the wide receivers especially kind of bought into that. Could you kind of just give us more of what you're seeing every day and the fact that, there's young guys on the field who are fearless and how that'll help with the gauntlet that you guys have coming up in October?
Yeah, really like this freshman class, Lulu, that we have. And you're exactly right. You see it at we're playing a lot of freshmen. You see it at the receiver position with those guys. They did a good job last night and continue to get better. And then there's other ones that you didn't see last night, that like Malik Clark and Jaden Sellers and Jordan Gidron, that continue to get better. Lex Cyrus, that receiving class is really good. Matthew Fuller, I know he's not a true freshman, but he's still young, and the energy that he brings. And Mike Tyler is really doing some good things for us on special teams. And like I said, he was the scout team offensive player of the week. He continues to get better. And you saw Anthony Addison playing some defense last night. Donovan Darden was playing more special teams. Jaquel Holman did a great job on that kickoff return. DeMarcus Leach is playing corner. Those guys, Kendall Daniels was on more special teams last night. So those guys do bring great energy, and, they're freshmen, and you want to, pull your hair out sometimes with some of the things they do, but they do have youthful energy and competitive spirit that continues to mature. And they're continuing to realize that this isn't high school where some Friday nights you can just, show up and you're going to beat the other team by 40. It's hard to win games at this level, and they're realizing just how much goes into to winning, and those guys continue to get better.
Shane, I think it's been a minute since we've asked about Travian. How's he doing? Has he been around the facility any more since the day he drove up and said hello?
Yeah, he drove up and said hello. He's been at practice the last 2 Wednesdays. Not at practice, but at practice, but not on the field. He's been at practice with headphones on, sitting up on the balcony overlooking the practice fields from the assistant coach's offices. So he's been out there the last 2 Wednesdays, and we're texting with him and talking with him regularly, and he continues to get better and still involved. And I know he's looking forward to being back here with us full speed as soon as possible.
Does he help with like scouting reports or anything like that, break down film and pass along notes, or what does that look like?
Not really. We want him to do what he's comfortable doing. I mean, as soon as the accident happened, I talked with Joe Lyle in video and Clayton and Clint Haggard, our trainer, about, when he feels able to, let's get him the technology that he needs to be as involved as he feels comfortable being. So yes and no. Jordan Dove's coaching the D-line. Travian's involved to a certain degree. He has an iPad that has all the video on there, and he can interject as much as he wants. But our priority, and his priority certainly is getting healthy. But I know he's still involved and misses being out there with us and wants to help in any way that he can currently.
Shane, going back to the recruiting stuff you're talking about for later on in the week, how important is it for you guys to be able to get out and do that? And I know obviously y'all do that at times throughout the season and obviously host guys as well, but where do you feel like
Yeah,
that's
it's great.
coming
It's obviously when you have a win like that, and we had a lot of recruits here last night, and thank our fans. I had a friend that from Atlanta that was here last night, and his daughter's a senior in high school, and they've been going around the different colleges in the ACC and SEC. And he told me I've been to football games and a lot of the schools that we can recruit against. He named all of them and said that environment in that stadium last night blows the doors off of anywhere that I've ever been with my daughter. And he's exactly right. And he said that's got to have an amazing impact on recruits. And it does. The ones that were there last night, that's all they could talk about before the game was just the electricity in the stadium and the Gamecock walk. So our fans are amazing. The energy they create in Williams-Brice is a huge advantage for us. We have momentum now going on the road after a win. There's a lot of excitement. Recruiting class that we have right now is great and is going great. The 27 class, we're off to a great start with them, and it's great to be able to get out on the road. Our assistant coaches are out most Fridays. I mean, we had, I think, 5 coaches that were at high school games in South Carolina on Friday night a couple nights ago, but I'm not able to get out on the road during the week because I'm with the team at the hotel on Friday nights. So it'll be great to be able to get out on the road recruiting this week. I think I'll be in 5 states on Thursday and Friday, recruiting and trying to see a lot of guys. And as a head coach, you're limited because the month of December is now a dead period. So you're limited on how many times you can go out recruiting. So really for a head coach, it's the month of January and the off weeks. And some head coaches use the off week to not recruit and rest up, and that's their prerogative. But I like to get out on the road. So I'm looking forward to being in high schools and being at some high school games this week.
What do you think about December being a dead period? And is that easier for y'all to navigate, or do you feel like it would be beneficial to?
I mean, I think it'd be nice to be able to get out on the road, but I think it's the right thing for it to be a dead period. There's just so much going on in the month of December. I mean, I think I told this story to you guys. There was a day last December where we had a bowl practice. And, our offensive coordinator at the time wasn't there because he had just taken the head coaching job at another school. I think we were hosting, I think Justice Haynes was here that day, the running back that ended up going to Michigan. I think Gabe Brownlow-Dindy was here that day on a visit. We had a high school recruit that was here on a visit. We had a couple of our current players were missing because they decided to not play in the bowl game and they had already opted out. And it was just like a snapshot of what college football was like in 2020. I guess it would have been 4 at the time with all these different aspects or dynamics going on at practice. So I think it's nice that you can focus on your team. You're not hosting transfers. Guys aren't entering the portal as soon as the season's over because the portal doesn't open till January. So I think it's a positive for sure. I mean, I'm glad it's what we as coaches wanted, and I think it's the right thing to do for your current team, which is our priority in the month of December. And signing day will have already happened because it's early in December, so that's behind you. And what you don't get is home visits. I mean, 2 Decembers ago, I was in, I think, 20 homes of our prospects, the guys that are out there playing for us right now. I was in like 20 homes in a 2.5 week span. Well, now they all sign in December and they come to school in January. So the days of home visits are likely over for head coaches at least. So that's a different aspect of it, but it all evens out.